Welcome to episode 426 of the Thunder Underground podcast. Trent here as always. And this week's super fun for me because Jason Wood, my former co-host of Thunder Underground, has returned and is joining me to talk at great length about our thoughts on Back to the Beginning. We've got a good, roughly about an hour and a half talk, as you could tell from the length of this episode here. Jason founded the podcast with me. It was actually his idea in the very beginning. And then he left we're coming up on 4 years, I think. I think it was like the end of the summer in 2021, if I remember right. And he's returned several times since, to discuss either, concerts we've seen or unfortunate passing of musicians we love. A few other times, but this is the most recent time, of course, because it's the present. We're going to talk about Back to the Beginning, which if you clicked on this, I'm sure you know what it is, but Back to the Beginning was the concert celebrating the 4 original members of Black Sabbath and celebrating Ozzy in his final show, or his final live performance. We got a set from Ozzy that included 5 Ozzy solo songs with Zakk Wylde, not Mike Borden, I almost said Mike Borden, sorry, he played earlier in the day. Tommy Clufetis on drums, and Mike Inez, that was the surprise, back on bass. Mike Inez was Ozzy's bassist. Back in the No More Tears era, he was and of course he left to replace Mike Starr in Alice in Chains in the early 90s. So it was really cool to see him back. Of course, most of us probably thought it would be Blasco or something, who was the most recent bass player in Ozzy's band. There's also notable guys out there throughout the years, like Jason Newsted, of course, and of course the mighty Rob Trujillo from Metallica. But that's all beside the point. Also, Black Sabbath performed directly after Ozzy with a 4-song set. Ozzy, of course, sounded better than I think a lot of us imagined. This is a man that's suffering from Parkinson's. He's dealt with tons in his life, and he tried to reschedule that most recent tour 2 or 3 times. And then I think it was 22 when they finally shut it down for good, saying that this is not something Ozzy's able to do anymore, but they made it clear that they were hoping to do something here or there if he could. And flash forward to now, a few months ago they announced he's going to do this as his final performance. And you could see it when he was performing, that the man really wanted to stand up. When he was sitting in that throne of his, still raising his hands, doing his in-between songs or in-between lyrics, phrases that he, would always throw out to the crowd, the faces he makes. You could just see that he was like wanting to stand up and move around like he always did. You could see it on his face that he was loving the fact that this was happening. And I don't, because I saw, a lot of talk online of people saying, that this is just something like that Sharon's, willing him out there for whatever reason. But we can all say negative things about Sharon that have happened throughout the years, but I do not believe for an instance that that's the case here. I fully believe this is 100% Ozzy wanted to do this. And I'm so happy that it came off well on his end. And then there was a full day of not just several amazing bands performing mini sets, but there was also a few mini sets from several supergroups. And all of these artists, these bands, members of these supergroups, Jason and I are going to discuss. We spend a good chunk of the interview, I feel like it's more than the first half, talking about our thoughts on Ozzy and Sabbath, and then all of the appearances in the supergroups and the guys that weren't, performing with their full band. And then the last third or whatever this episode, we get into all the bands that performed. And I'm letting you know this to note that the final few bands that performed, Slayer, Guns N' Roses, and Metallica, I have to fully admit that I went over to Jason's house to record this. So I took my recorder, we went over there, had a few beers, and talked about Back to the Beginning. But I didn't do a great job of paying attention to how much space was left on my memory card. Thankfully, there was enough to get an hour and a half out of it. But when I noticed that time ticking down on the little screen, I was like, oh shit, we've only got about 10 minutes left, and we've still got to talk about Slayer, Guns N' Roses, and Metallica. And knowing me and Jason, any single one of those bands we could talk an hour and a half about on their own, many times over. I would go as far as saying that Jason and I could sit down and start a podcast that singularly focused on any three of those bands and be able to talk about it from here till eternity. And if you don't know, there are several podcasts out on those bands. I'm not sure on Slayer if there's many Slayer-specific podcasts, but Metallica for many years has had, Metal Up Your Podcast, which is such a great, especially in their early days, when they're focusing on, specific eras and everything, and they had great interviews. That's a great podcast. There's been other ones out there. Guns N' Roses, there's a great one called Appetite for Distortion that is completely Guns N' Roses specific, but he has on guests from all over the rock world and usually includes a tie-in to Guns N' Roses in some way or another, but I would suggest you check that out. Great podcast with Brando, and he's been on this podcast before in the past. But I just wanted to say that to let you know that that's why those final... I think I cut out the part where we're talking about it, the fact that we're about to run out of time, but we kind of rushed through those three, and it's something we could have discussed, especially, Guns N' Roses, because a lot of people had thoughts on Axl Rose's voice, as they do at all times, and of course Jason had many thoughts, as do I, as Guns N' Roses being my favorite band. Again, I will say that right now, put it, I like to do this every once in a while, put something out into the universe, and this will be my thing. I would love to sit down and just have a full-on discussion with someone, like a full podcast that is nothing about Axl Rose's voice and how it's changed throughout the years and what he should do. Because I fully believe, as a fan, this man, has one of the greatest ranges in the history of rock and roll. That's a proven fact. He has a higher octave range than Freddie Mercury and Mariah Carey. The guy, has the ability, but he obviously needs to change something. And whenever your voice is very distinctive in a certain way, you can't really, change it for that nostalgia factor and still fill up stadiums, right? So there you go. Total side tangent, but I don't know if Jason's the right person because, maybe he is, he's got good thoughts on this stuff, but yeah, that would probably be the best person because I need someone, that doesn't like Axl Rose versus me, someone who does, right? All right. But back to Sabbath and Ozzy. So much cool stuff happened. We talk about it. My favorite thing that I'll talk about more in length here coming up is Steven Tyler's appearance and how amazing he sounded. Seeing guys like Vernon Reid on that stage, which, didn't cross my mind when you're thinking of guests that could show up. Seeing Vernon Reid on that stage, playing Bark at the Moon, playing, did he play Flying High again with Sammy, I think? Just that in itself, mind-blowing. Whitfield Crane, that's not one that was unexpected because everybody knows his great history with Ozzy and his fandom of that band as well. But seeing him up there, seeing Mike Borden back, my favorite drummer of all time, my second favorite drummer, was on the stage as well a couple times. Charlie from Anthrax, and of course now Pantera. So many, great things. KK Downing, David Ellefson, sorry, I can't even speak, who's been on this podcast a couple times. So much cool stuff. And we're going to get into all of it. And above all else, if you have not heard Hellstorm doing Perry Mason, look that shit up right now and then get back to this podcast so Jason and I can talk to you about Sabbath. But before we do, usually I do this up at the top, but I just started talking, so I need to let you know real quick who the sponsors of this podcast are. We've got Sunset Tattoo, who's a tattoo shop located in Midtown Tulsa. Their tattoos are done good and proper. They're state licensed. They're Native American owned. They have a female artist on staff full-time. If you give them a call, shoot them a message, or even if you walk in, you can set up a time to talk about the work you're looking to have done. They accept walk-ins, so if you got something that's not super elaborate, they could help you on the spot sometimes. Get in there, talk to them. They're great. They've got great experience across the board. 30 years of experience at the least. I know it's more than that by now. I need to check with Jake what those numbers are, because I've been saying 25 plus years of experience for a few years now, I feel. But yeah, Sunset Tattoo on the socials. Sunset Tattoo Tulsa on both Facebook and Instagram. There's tons of photos there. You can see all their work. I've had work done by them. I'm super happy. So hit up Sunset Tattoo and let them know you heard about them right here on Thunder Underground. We've also got DEB Concerts, a concert promoter based in the Tulsa area. They've run tons of great acts to downtown Tulsa at both the club level, at the arena level. They have also been booking the DEB concert stage, the Roadhouse stage at Rocklahoma the last several years. This year is no exception. The pre-party at Rocklahoma, the Thursday before Labor Day weekend when Rocklahoma happens this year, is always booked by DEB Concerts. That pre-party will feature Sebastian Bach, Lita Ford, Trickster, and many other great acts. The rest of the weekend will feature Mike Tramp, formerly of White Lion, Orianthi, Van Halen, a great Van Halen tribute, Dime Store Riot, One Night Stand, Fist of Rage, Rocket Science, so many great bands that have been on this podcast. Check out the entire lineup, rocklahoma.com. Check out debconcerts.com. Follow them on the socials. And of course, we'll keep you up to date on any other updates coming as well. And finally, we've got Rocklahoma Bitches. Rocklahoma Bitches have been an institution at Rocklahoma since 2011. We're going on 15 years now. If you've been out there any length of time, either in the VIP sections or that DB concert stage I just talked about, or the campgrounds especially, you'd recognize Rocklahoma Bitches. Christy and Kendra are always out there spreading the love, spreading the joy of rock. They've got tons of merch for Rocklahoma Bitches, but they give it all away for free. They don't charge for a single thing, and they never have throughout the years. You get t-shirts, koozies, stickers, the see-through bags, all kinds of great stuff, and they're always coming up with new items. They're very charitable people. Besides just that, Christy bids on one of the guitars that Rocklahoma auctions every year. They always auction off guitars of bands that are performing, that are autographed. And every year she seems to win at least one of those. And Rocklahoma Bitches sponsor Cancer Sucks, which is a yearly benefit in Tulsa that happens late in the year every year, usually at the Canes Bar in the last few years. Great concert, great event, great organization. Rocklahoma Bitches, great people as well. So next time you see one of them, let them know you heard about them right here on Thunder Underground. All right, now that that's covered, it's time to get back into the subject at hand, which is back to the beginning. I mentioned right before the sponsors that Hailstorm cover. To me, I don't think I said this, so I'm going to say it now. I believe it's the most, I'm sure probably me or Jason actually did say this, but I believe it was kind of the most shocking song selection. I think Jason did actually say that. It's not shocking, really, that someone picked it, because, it was a known Ozzy hit. It's probably like the biggest hit he ever had post No More Tears era. Well, maybe See You on the Other Side from Osmosis as well was pretty big on radio. I remember that. I Just Want You. But I feel like Perry Mason is the one that stood the test of time the most to most people. And to see, Lizzie Hill, belt that out, that band, is a great live hard rock band. And that's the other thing I wanted to mention. It's so cool that, so many people want to complain that, like, why wasn't, this there, and this there. It's like, there's only so many things that can be there on a one-day festival. But I love the fact that they spread it across the board. Of course, it was dominant with metal, but you also had Hailstorm, just a hard rock band. You had Rival Sons, who were just a hard rock, bluesy hard rock band. You had Steven Tyler. You had Ronnie Wood. These guys are from two legendary rock bands, not metal bands. Sammy Hagar. You had all these guys, and, they're paying their tribute to Ozzy, paying their tribute to rock and roll, paying their tribute to Sabbath. And, it didn't have to, Vernon Reid, was another one I already mentioned. The levels and the branches off of Sabbath. There was rock and roll before Sabbath. There was hard rock. But, there's so many bands that, we know that wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Sabbath and what they did and their sound. And some of that stuff Geezer wrote, much of that stuff, those riffs that Tony Iommi wrote, there's so many genres of metal that has branched off so many times since Sabbath. they're still directly responsible for. You hear stuff in Sabbath songs, that came later, in whether it be death metal, doom metal, melodic rock, stoner metal, progressive metal, all these elements, take great from this band. And to see those four guys back on stage together one more time, since we hadn't got to see them with Bill Ward in well over 20 years, just super awesome as a fan of rock and metal.
Wait, I have a question.
Okay.
I have a question. This is off topic.
Oh, okay.
But extremely current. What is worse? Getting caught cheating in a Coldplay concert, or just people knowing that you were at a Coldplay concert?
I mean, that's the same thing. Because you put Coldplay into both scenarios.
It is, isn't it? It is.
You just mean getting caught cheating at a concert, or people knowing that it was a Coldplay concert.
Yeah. That's it.
Now, did you see the reel I posted?
No, I haven't. I've seen a ton of shit.
But as soon as that was going off yesterday, I posted one basically saying that, the CEO and CFO were exposed as being Coldplay fans.
Yeah.
Is this basically the caption I put?
Yeah. Yeah, which, I don't know, might be worse.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, back to the beginning. Yes, go ahead.
But, real quick on that, I did see a real pop-up today of a Luke Bryan concert last night, where he started doing a cam and said, IQ's here with their secretary.
Right.
So I assume that this is instantly going to become a part of pop culture. As far as people are going to do it at shows all the time, because of
it's open season.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just jokes. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
I don't blame any act for exploiting that and making a joke about that.
No, not at all.
It's great.
But yeah, so back to the beginning in Birmingham, England. I will admit up front, I know you watched this thing in its entirety.
Mm-hmm.
I did not, but I've seen everything I wanted to see, at least. I mean, there's a few of the bands I didn't watch full sets, but I watched every band's Sabbath cover because that's what was important to me.
Of course.
I've seen Metallica play Battery a million times, even though I love it, but I don't, just to being able to see everything, because up until I had seen a chunk of it, but as I realized when we were going to do this yesterday, I'm like, there's still a few things I really haven't seen a good version of, so I barreled through that, but I think you probably have a better perspective overall since you watched it from beginning to end. But I figured, let's start with the obvious, which is the reason this whole thing happened, was because of, Ozzy being able to perform one final show and being able to do it with Bill Ward there in the full lineup, like, they had talked about over the years, and the fact that this actually happened, because the one thing of note for me is that last summer I read Geezer Butler's book that came out last year. And we know the music business is a never say never thing, but he firmly stated at the end of his book that he was never going to get on stage again.
Right.
And of course, but he probably also never thought that opportunity would be there with Bill Ward and Ozzy being able to do it.
Absolutely.
But that's kind of a side note. But anyway, the fact that this happened, all four of them, and then of course, a set of Ozzy songs with Zakk Wylde and Tommy and Mike Inez. So just your first thoughts on seeing that as a whole and how you thought it all went with Ozzy.
For me, it harkened back to that summer in the early 90s. Sorry, can't remember exactly what year. I know it was the early 90s, was the Freddie Mercury concert, where, back then it was broadcast on MTV all weekend long.
Yeah. And
I literally sat in my room or stood up in my room as a teenager and watched the whole thing, because it was so cool to see. One, you see, and again, and if you want to even go back more, it's like a Live Aid deal. You know, you get that vibe too. There's, a ton of different bands. Every band is huge. They're all putting their egos aside. They're only doing a few songs, switching out. All the super groups, all the jams, all the people hanging out with each other that you don't really see a lot. That was, for me, that was really cool, and that was really special. That was the part that got me, that really meant a lot to me, and that I really noticed.
Yeah.
Because as a we're pushing 50, dude.
Yeah.
And anything that kind of harkens back to our younger years and gives us those feelings again, we grab onto. So I just completely latched on to all that, to that vibe, that communal, that togetherness, everything, whatever.
Yeah.
And I also liked, not to overshadow the whole reason of the show, which was Ozzy and Sabbath and the last thing, but you have the jams with like Steven Tyler and Ronnie Wood, and they're doing, and Sammy Hagar, and they're doing Mantra songs and Aerosmith songs. It's just, it was just a great celebration of rock and roll and hard rock, and kind of a once, not once in a lifetime, but a very rare gathering of all these people.
Yeah.
So it was super special, super just, every time a dude came on the stage, I'm like, oh, that guy, and he's jamming with that guy.
Yeah.
When did you think you'd see that fucking goofball from Disturbed on the same stage as Rudy Sarzo or whatever? It's like,
yeah,
or what? Yeah, whatever. It was so cool. So, when did you think you'd see Travis Barker jamming with Nuno Betancourt?
That's the only thing that pissed me off, by the way. But anyway, go on.
Right? Yeah.
I'm not going to be not going to be a gatekeeper, because there's a million gatekeepers out there.
Right.
But that's the only thing that I'm like, Travis Barker, did we really need that? Anyway.
But, dude, I know. Again, we could go off on that for...
I don't even care about the sleep token guy. That's fine. Travis Barker, did we really need that?
No. But just that combo and that variety, that's the kind of... I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
even if I don't like... I just dig, And
that's, it shows the wide-ranging, no matter how much I hate that guy or Blink-182. It's
right.
Like that.
And that's what you got with Live Aid. That's what you got with the Freddie Mercury tribute. And so... Not only was it a fitting tribute and send-off for Ozzy and Black Sabbath, it was just a great gathering of all that kind of stuff, and it got me so excited, and, I just wanted to, shout it out to the world. Oh, my God!
Yeah.
You gotta see this Tom Morello and Rudy Sarzo on the same stage?
Yeah.
Mind blown! You wouldn't have saw that 20 years ago, because that just wasn't cool to do.
Yeah.
Right? So, my first thought, before we get into everybody's set and, the importance of Black Sabbath, but my first overall thought, that's what that is right there.
Yeah. Well, I was going to mention that, so I'm glad you brought it up, was that this happened less than a week to the day of Live Aid, 40 years to the day.
Mm-hmm.
Which is irrelevant. It's not connected, but it's just because Live Aid is the benchmark of something like this.
Right.
And it's a very small things to pull from, even though it's a benchmark. But like you said, there's, it happened with Taylor Hawkins, and it's happened throughout the years, but at this level, it's Freddie Mercury, Live Aid, and now
right.
this. Because you don't include Woodstock and things like that, because
right.
those are monumental moments, but that was full-on sets. This is like, you don't see... Like you said, putting egos aside, a band like Metallica and Guns N' Roses going out and playing for 20 minutes, at 7 p.m. and then Tool going on in the daylight, shit that just never happens, to see all these bands come together and do that.
And you're right, you mentioned the Taylor Hawkins tribute. That's another one of those kind of vibes of those kind of shows. You can put that one in too, so.
Yeah. So, you mentioned Tom Morello. There's a point I wanted to hit at some point. I never really saw how in depth was everything his choice or whatever. I don't know, but as kind of like the mastermind behind putting these, super groups together and kind of curating the event. I mean, it also says a lot because that's a guy that a lot of people are divisive about.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to come out here and pull together something fucking amazing. We know the guy has an insane brain for rock and metal.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm happy with that, but I mean, kind of what are your thoughts on what Tom Morello did or his part in this?
Well, I think he's the only guy that can pull that off. One of the only guys that can pull that off, because let's think about it. He straddles the line of those two worlds.
Yeah.
The Tool, the Mastodon, the Primuses, the more alternative stuff, but he's also very into the hard rock stuff. And a lot of dudes, a lot of bands fail at that, but somehow he does that. He straddles those worlds, and it comes off beautifully. So that's the only dude that can do that,
Yeah.
And you got to think. I mean, I don't know. I'm just speculating, but he's on the board of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So he probably knows all these people. He knows all these people's people.
Yeah.
I'm sure, he can pull strings like something we don't even, like we don't even know.
Right.
So that's the guy that really is.
Yeah.
And, if you, I don't know. I mean, you could get into, why he's very this way, but then he gets a guy like David Draymond, which is another way.
Yeah.
But you also, if you really look at it and research, I hate to use that word because it sounds like I'm a Trumper, but if you do your research, Morello's good friends with somebody like Ted Nugent,
Yeah.
I mean, they just know everybody and they can have conversations with everybody no matter what. And so that was the only guy to get all those people together, and so there you go.
Yeah. And I mean, I think they did a great job, whether it's him or whoever, of pulling in guys like you mentioned earlier, it being like a celebration, because it's like when I think Ozzy, Black Sabbath celebration, Sammy Hagar is not the first person that pops in mind, even though Montrose fits directly in there, and of course Van Halen does. But I feel like with all these other acts being represented, someone from Van Halen needed to be on that stage.
Right.
So, and then Steven Tyler, KK Downing, David Ellefson needed to be on that stage, so those bands were represented.
Right.
So I think they did a great job of.
Right.
And then, of course, having the new blood, like Young Blood, Rival Sons, Hellstorm, Ghost, all that stuff represented as well,
Yeah. I think that the initial lineup announcement, I don't think Sammy Hagar and Steven Tyler were in that.
Steven Tyler was never announced.
And like Ronnie Wood was never announced at all.
I think both Ronnie Wood and Steven Tyler were like surprise appearances.
Right. And how cool that was.
Yeah. And then, I mean, that takes over. Like Soundgarden was originally announced. They were on the original lineup.
That's right.
And then they had to pull out because, I don't know, they said something like around the time of like a personal one of them.
Yeah.
Something. But I mean, to me, that might be, I had that like marked as something to mention later. But probably my biggest disappointment of someone that wasn't there. But, hey, on a side note, I just saw right when I got here, you tagged me in that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
that Chris Cornell celebration thing, I haven't been able to listen to it yet.
Oh, I did. It's really cool. It's really cool. And on that note, you need to get me another beer because you're right next to the beer fridge. And I have no problem putting that on. Which one? You can grab one for yourself too if you want. Give me that one.
Yeah.
It's a good version of Rusty Cage, so you should listen to it.
Definitely will. And yeah, it sounded like they're putting out a full album with different. It almost sounded like a different band on everyone.
Yeah,
like various artists.
There's some charity component. I'm not sure.
But so, do you want to talk about Black Sabbath and Ozzy sets?
Yeah.
On top at the top, since that's the reason everybody was here. To me, I mean, I guess the obvious statement is that I was just when this was announced, I'll be straight up honest, I wasn't like super pumped, which just sounds weird because this is like you mentioned our youth. Like this is like a 1992. We always mention that year. If this had been mentioned in 1992, my head would have fucking exploded.
Yeah, right.
I mean, because like everybody I love, like Ozzy, Anthrax, Black Sabbath, Guns N' Roses, Pantera, Whitfield, fucking Crane, Vernon Reid, Nuno Bettencourt, all these guys I love all together. Just, it's just mind blowing, But, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so I was just like shocked that I wasn't super pumped about it because I thought this is just going to be a thing where Ozzy comes out and plays one or two solo songs and maybe War Pigs and Iron Man.
Well, and see, they led you to believe that too. Well, yeah, right when it came out, they're like, well, Ozzy probably won't do very much. Well, he didn't 9
maybe
fucking
at that
songs.
time they didn't know. Maybe
they didn't know. Yeah,
that he was gonna, And as time went on, the fact that he came out there and did 9 songs was a thing. Mm-hmm. Well, I will preface this by saying, once that week happened and there's all this press and it's getting close, then I started getting pumped about it. Mm-hmm. Then you start thinking, oh man, I wish I could have been at this show. You get all those feelings. And then when the day happened, all these videos start coming through my social media feeds. But anyway, just seeing Ozzy come out there and pulling off 9 songs and sounding better than you expected him to sound.
Yes.
Did he sound like Ozzy of old? No, but he sounded way better than you expect someone to sound that's going through the shit he's gone through or going through. And to be able to pull off, you could roughly say that's a full set of music. I don't know what the timing was and you combine the 2 sets together. But, under an hour, but it's still closer than what I ever thought was going to happen. And then on top of that, the fact that Mike Inez was a part of that band was the biggest shock to me. Well, now, I mean, it shouldn't be a shock, but just the biggest surprise, which was very cool. And then the coolest part of the whole thing to me was Geezer Butler. I don't know, because he's always been my favorite member of those 4 guys in Black Sabbath. Right. And just seeing just like War Pigs, just like him at his age, just like his hands, just like all over the place, is just mind blowing to me. I don't know, but
I was surprised. I didn't know. I mean, I pretty much figured it would be Zach and Tommy Clufetos,
right, for
his solo thing, and I figured, and that's you can get into the people that you thought should have been there that weren't.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
And right. And Blasco was one of them. I figured
he'd be the current guy.
Blasco they'll have but it was Mike Inez. So that was cool. That was really cool. So it was kind of a, it makes you think that if Randy Castillo was still around, that maybe they would have got him to do it.
Yeah.
God bless him.
Right.
So, but I mean. Yeah, to get 9 songs out of Ozzy, and he sounded good, dude.
Yeah,
he did. I mean, and you could tell he wanted to get up. He was just he was just ready for it, but he just couldn't. And so I mean, I think that for somebody that big to know that. Like, so many of these dudes, so many of these bands we love just go way past when they should. And I think for him to know that, years ago when he stopped, but at the same time, man, I got one more in me.
Yeah.
And he gave it everything, and he fucking pulled it off. He sounded really good.
Yeah, I think off what you're saying, that the one point of that, the intro to Mr. Crowley, during that intro where they would show him in his throne, like you kept seeing it, he was doing the normal Ozzy stage antics, raising his hands up or making the face or saying come on. He's all wanting to get up and do this stuff, and then you can also see it on his face, he's really concentrating, I've got to fucking. Just, I don't know. I just saw that the look in his face looked like an intense kind of okay. Right. This is, and it's the same thing with NIB during Sabbath, where it would focus on him with Geezer right there. You can kind of see it on his face. All right, this is coming up. I'm going to fucking do this. Now, Yeah, I don't know. To me, I might be overthinking it, but it just seemed like a look you didn't see in his face.
Yeah.
During if you just watch an old Black Sabbath set or something.
Right.
You know? But,
yeah, it was. It was like he just knew this was it, so he's got to deliver.
Yeah.
And he did, and I'm really glad because I was really thinking. And I was okay with it too. Like, if he comes out here and he can barely do this shit, hey, fair enough, whatever. You know?
If he can get out crazy, trained and paranoid, good for him. Yeah.
But no, he exceeded expectations.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. It was really special.
Yeah. So, set list wise, before we mention the Sabbath set, then the obvious omission.
Yeah.
The obvious omission of the whole show.
Yeah, no
but
shit.
In the solo set, were you surprised? Because I'm not surprised at all with the song choices, but with it, since I was surprised with it being 5 songs, obviously, at least 3 of them are going to be Randy Rhoads songs. Mm-hmm. But I kind of thought with Zach being there that instead of maybe Mr. Crowley or something, that it might be like No More Tears. That's the only thing that kind of caught me off guard. I mean, obviously we had Mom, I'm Coming Home. But in this whole freaking day,
mm-hmm.
the only Mama, I'm Coming Home was the only song past the 80s besides Perry Mason that was played the whole fucking day.
Right.
Which is fine because that's where this is a nostalgia thing.
Yeah.
But still, I was just surprised that no one pulled out a See You on the Other Side or a Road to Nowhere, but mainly No More Tears. I'm surprised that wasn't anywhere. But,
yeah, I kind of thought... Well, once I thought for sure they would play No More Tears. I really did. And then once...
Fucking Mike Inez is there.
Yeah.
You gotta play
once they went into Crazy Train, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, no, I guess... Because, that was going to be the last song of his set. Yeah. So no, I was like, well, okay.
Right.
But they did Mama, I'm Coming Home, so, whatever.
Yeah.
And... But the rest of the set, of course, they're going to play... I'm not surprised they played those songs.
Oh, no, not at all. And then on the Sabbath set, the obvious thing, I think you might have texted it to me like right after it happened, and I was thinking the same thing, and then you started seeing everybody else talk about it, the fact that they didn't play Black Sabbath.
Yeah, I was just really...
And to me, that's the perfect...
for sure that would be the last song.
I thought it would be the first song.
Of
the Sabbath set.
Right. But hey,
because I figured the last song would have to be Paranoid or Iron Man. But just the fact that it didn't get played at all.
Yeah, hey, whatever.
It's
I
the
don't
namesake, it's the opening track, it's like heavy metal at its core, just like Black Sabbath at its core.
Yep. I really thought for sure, but... Hey,
but maybe there was a plan to do it, because I can't imagine not a single other artist on that bill would not have played that if they didn't have the choice. There's got to be a few of those bands that would have done that, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I really was like, wow, okay.
Because I assume there's, I don't know how that process works, but I did see the interview where Joey Belladonna basically, in a roundabout way, said we didn't get to do Blaze Sabbath because Axl did it.
Right.
He didn't mention Guns N' Roses, but he said there's politics and all this.
Oh, yeah.
So we chose this. Which, if I'm, a fan of that band, I'm thinking Scotty Ian probably would have rathered Into the Void anyway. I don't know what's going through his mind, but that's like one of the ultimate fucking guitar riffs of all time.
Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah, we could speculate till the cows come home. Right. Who knows why that song did not get played.
Right. But the set as a whole was so cool. Seeing Bill Ward up there without a shirt, and just like not giving a fuck, and just like...
it's like, who wants to put a fucking shirt on, dude? Right. Here's the thing, too, is, I read, I can't remember one of all the interviews, Tony Iommi was like, and there goes Bill without a shirt on. He's like, I told him, you look like Gollum, put your shirt back on.
Yeah, so
And then,
and then someone else was praising him, like some other metal dude, I can't remember.
Like, yeah, who cares, whatever.
Fucking live your life.
But I just don't, I just don't like, maybe it's my own self-consciousness, I don't know, but when I'm driving around the neighborhood and I'm seeing some old fat guy mowing his lawn without a shirt, I'm like, put your shirt on, dude. No one wants to see that. It's gross. But, and even more to that point, which I was going to bring this up anyways.
All right.
But Eloy Casagrande from Slipknot, that poor guy, that Bill Ward was his fucking idol. That's all he wanted to do is meet him. He got to meet him. There's pictures with those two. Dude is crying. Okay? And he's taking a picture with Bill Ward without a shirt off. With the big old beer belly and 78-year-old man titties. It's like, dude, put a fucking shirt on. Just for this guy. He's crying. The most you can do is put a shirt on.
Right.
But then again, maybe I focus on the wrong things. Maybe it doesn't matter to some people. Right. But do you think that guy's going to want to put that in a frame now and put it on his fucking wall?
I'm sure he still will, because it's like if you met James Hetfield and, he didn't have a shirt on, even though, he's younger and a little bit in better shape than Bill Ward, you would still put it on your wall, I think.
Yeah, you're probably right. Okay, good point.
Even if it's James Hetfield in 20 years, you'd put it on your wall.
I'll back off on that. Okay, you're probably right. Okay, never mind. You're good.
Right. But I was, one of those people that was vocally annoyed with Black Sabbath for doing the end tour without Bill Ward.
Oh, me too. Me too.
And they kept saying, well, he couldn't do it. And I mean, I'm not a musician, but, watching the show, I saw a lot of people saying you can see he's kind of a slow in his step, and like maybe that was true, but who knows? That's the fucking past.
Well, and
I went to those shows, they were great, but this is fucking great that he's there.
And that was the other thing too is, I mean, I know they only did 4 songs, but he seemed to be fine.
Yeah.
But we saw him with Bill Ward way back in the day anyways.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, we saw him twice, right? Like once at an Ozfest and once that deal with Pantera and Incubus.
Was that with Mike Borden, though?
No, I thought Bill Ward was at both those.
Maybe.
And then after that was with Mike Ward. I could be wrong.
I know I've seen him, 4 times, so.
Because one of the Ozfest Bill Ward was at, and then I swore he was a part of that one with Pantera and Incubus, but I could be wrong.
And then one Ozfest, it was Mike Borden.
Yeah.
And then I saw the end tour, 16 or whatever.
Yeah. So speaking of Mike Borden, there's a segue. To me, because I was going to kind of, Mike Borden is someone, it wasn't a shock that he was there, but I was very happy to see that he was there. To me, the coolest things, seeing someone, being on that stage to me was Mike Borden and Whitfield Crane and Vernon Reid.
Right.
Because they're the ones that, especially Whitfield Crane and Vernon Reid, like, just didn't cross my mind that they would be there. Even though, Whitfield Crane was on the fuck.
Well, I knew he'd be there.
So we knew that because it was on the...
He's toured with all of those guys.
Yeah, and it makes sense, but I'm just saying it just doesn't, like, there was only so much time, Corey Taylor would get put in that spot a million times before Whitfield Crane.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I'm just saying there's it worked out to where I'm glad that he was one of those people that got to get up there and also do a song that wasn't one... Right. That was an obvious choice, too, but I know that's kind of getting off on a tangent for a second. But.
Well, Whitfield Crane, he went on tour. I think he was on the end tour, not the end. Yeah, the end tour, soundchecking for Ozzy that whole time. Really? Yeah. Did I? What? And I could be totally wrong, but I'm pretty sure I've read to where he has toured with Sabbath and Ozzy, like being Ozzy soundcheck guy. Okay. So I figured for sure he would be in there, and he did. He was. So.
He's a guy is going to kill it.
I could totally be wrong.
He's like one of the most underrated vocalists of all time.
Yeah, I know, because he's so in with Trujillo and all that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty sure there's some kind of thing going on there.
Yeah. But he's at all this stuff. It's like, because he's always flown under the radar. But he's always at, like, he was part of the Lemmy.
All the Lemmy stuff.
All the Lemmy
Ozzy
stuff, because they were close,
sir.
and just any of that stuff. And then, of course, going back to the, Nativity in Black.
Oh, yeah.
Or that wasn't on that. That was on their own deal. Where Ugly Kid Joe covered NIB, and it was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And he's just got one of those voices that can.
Right.
But anyway, I guess. Yeah, besides that, I mean, we kind of go into the rest of the stuff, like the bulk of the show.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, hands down, to me, the this is going to sound dumb because we're talking about Ozzy and Sabbath, but to me, the coolest part of this whole fucking day was Steven Tyler.
Right.
I'll die on that hill, as much as, like, there's a few guys on this bill that I rank above him, even though he's an all-timer, but just after all the shit with that, this guy can't fucking, Joe Perry even said at one point he can't fucking sing well enough to go out on tour. I don't know what, all the shit that was being said, and just like he went through the stuff with his voice and he came out there and fucking sounded like Steven Tyler.
Oh, he sounded amazing.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's fine. That's fine. Here's the thing. Again, these dudes are in their 70s. Steven Tyler's goddamn 77 years old.
And he sounds like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he sounds like that. And you know what? If he can go out and do 2 or 3 songs, okay, he might not be able to do 2 hours every night.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Look, dude, you're almost 80. Okay? You did your job.
Yeah.
No one's sore about Aerosmith not touring anymore. And that doesn't mean you can't go and do a couple songs at a show here and there.
Yeah.
So people need to let go of that real quick. And the fact that he went out there and did those songs and they sounded amazing. I mean, it was not only Sabbath and Ozzy, it was just a great rock and roll celebration.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's when I was in. When Steven Tyler was on stage doing that, so that's when that dawned on to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is about Ozzy and Sabbath, but this is about the genre.
Right.
You've got the old guard, and you've got Gojira and Hailstorm.
Yeah.
And it's all under one thing, and that's what we've been needing the whole time. We don't need to separate and have lines and all this stuff. I mean, right. Maybe Travis Barker and David Draymond can go away, but other than that, sorry, just being stupid. But I mean, that's what we've been needing the whole time.
For sure.
So it was like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. This is not just, and it's so cool that it not only are we going to celebrate us and we're going to celebrate our front man, we're also going to celebrate this genre.
Yeah. And just other legends of this genre.
And other legends,
Yeah.
So that's just one more reason, one more testament why this was just awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, it's like I don't ever expect Aerosmith to go on a fucking tour, but I was just so happy to be able to see this guy come out there and perform at the level beyond what same thing with Ozzy. I mean, it was above a level you expected in Steven Tyler. I didn't expect him to walk out on that stage and sound like Steven Tyler sounded 20 years ago.
Exactly.
So.
And also, again, we got a fucking Rolling Stone out there.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
You got a Rolling Stone, a guy from Aerosmith, and a fucking, unheralded, underrated legend on guitar, 2 of them.
Yeah.
On the same stage at the same time. And then goddamn Travis Barker.
Yeah. we are here. It's
yeah.
It was a big thing.
Yeah. So the second thing to me, behind Steven Tyler, is Nuno fucking Betancourt.
Right.
This goes without saying. I was super happy that over the days that passed, when you kept seeing all the posts and stuff about it, like how much high praise he was getting across the board, which as he should. Because, I mean, Nuno's always been one of those guys that even though your metal dudes would rip on a band like Extreme, people still would give the dude respect. But it seems like over the past decade to me, Nuno's finally getting revered higher than before.
Absolutely.
He's finally being put on the pedestal he should have been put on in the 90s, even though we put him on that pedestal, but like not every
Right.
single goddamn person did. But now they finally are.
Right.
And then you see it on a stage with like a list of legends that's, you know, we could just like rattle off forever and talk the praises of these guys all day. But to see Nuno go out there and probably be on that stage more than anybody.
Right.
And just like fucking blow all these motherfuckers away and just do it at a level was just super happy to me with that dude being one of my favorite, you know, guitarists of all time.
Right. Well, you know,
and I know you feel the same way about him. So.
I mean, and it just again, it comes from the wide breadth of Tom Morello's address book, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because you saw Morello back in the day in Austin, and he brought up Nuno and all those guys, right?
Yeah.
So that they know each other. They've been friends. They know what each other can do. They know what they're about and what they like.
Yeah.
So it's just a no-brainer. And you know, he knows Nuno's ability because you know what? Let's just be honest. And we saw it right there. They were all out there ready to go. Where's fucking Jake E. Lee? We don't know. So they had to have Nuno there in case Jake E. Lee shit the bed. Because that guy is he's a loose cannon. Yeah. We know that.
That's a perfect segue because that was the next thing I wanted to mention.
Exactly.
I mean, first things first. I mean, I know we talked about it when this was announced. Like, I was just shocked, like most people, to see his name on the bill.
Me too.
I
was really shocked to see all the Rudy Sarzo and Jake E. Lee, that kind of shit.
Yeah. I mean, you would have been... I mean, I would, if you had told me beforehand they're about to announce the lineup, you know, you want to place a bet on the fact that Jake E. Lee is going to be at this show, I wouldn't have bet a goddamn dollar. You know, that's just how
right
little of a thought that I thought that would actually happen. So the fact that it happened, you know, and you knew that they're not going to have him up on stage with Ozzy because you knew it was going to be a minimal thing. But the fact that he was going to be there, that was cooler than anything to me. You know? So now getting to the actual set, like, as a guitarist, like what the fuck was going on? I mean, obviously, it's like you said, Jakey, let's say the David Draymond part, the Shot in the Dark thing. Like, he's not even playing, like, the intro guitar part. I saw people talking about how the sound was off, how Jake fucked it up, how David Draymond came in too early. I seen, like, a million excuses. Like, what did you see? I didn't even notice any of that. It's okay, fine to me. He didn't even play the intro. Like, you know, Shot in the Dark, that, you know, that guitar intro? Mm-hmm. Like, he didn't play it. And he was, like, looking kind of, like, at his guitar, like, what the fuck's going on? Like,
again, that's what I'm saying. That's because you've got Nuno there.
Nuno wasn't playing it either.
Who was playing? Hold on. See, that's why I just brought up the lineups of the supergroups because I can't keep it straight. I can't keep it straight. So, Shot in the Dark. Here we go.
I think it was Nuno, Jake E. Lee, David Draymond, and was that Travis Barker or Chad Smith? I can't remember. But, I mean, it's kind of... I mean, if you didn't notice it happening, then I guess it's not a...
Yeah. Okay, so Lizzie Hale did The Ultimate Sin.
Yeah.
And then David Draymond did Shot in the Dark.
Then they went right into Shot in the Dark. And then Barker Throne.
I mean, I don't know. It sounded fine to me.
Well, no, I mean, I thought it sounded fine, but it was just missing like that, you know, that guitar intro, that very obvious part of Shot in the Dark. You know, the whatever.
I can't even. I'd have to hear it again.
That
is definitely not one Ozzy song I listen to all the time.
Okay.
But here's the thing. It does, you know, the fucking dickhole mouth breathers on the internet are going to say all kinds of dumb shit, so.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I watched it, and it was the morning, and I was sober. Okay? So, it sounded fine to me. It really did. I just noticed that, like, on some of the stuff, that, you know, The Ultimate Sin, Nuno is really pulling more of the weight.
Yeah.
So.
But, I mean, that goes with saying, like, he had said, like, it was hard for him to, you know, like, he was dealing with carpal tunnel before he got shot and all that, and that's why he didn't play Bark at the Moon. Like, that was stated.
Right,
like,
yeah.
Why the amazing Vernon Reid, and who was Nuno, I think, still out there for that as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, here's a total random thought that I had after watching that set of those 3 Jakey Lee songs.
Okay.
This is very means jack shit. It's just my opinion. But I'm going to say that if, Tom Morello, I think he put these singers in the wrong spots. Like those 3 songs, I think would have been better if Papa was singing Shot in the Dark, Lizzie was singing Bark at the Moon, and David Draymond was singing The Ultimate Sin.
Right.
I mean, if you just think of their voices and think of those songs, think of Lizzie Hale singing Bark at the Moon. Like, how fucking cool would that be?
Yeah.
Papa, it just sounded like a dude with a good high-pitched voice singing this song. I'm like, he should have been singing Shot in the Dark. Yeah. Because that's what his voice is,
I saw a headline, which I didn't read. I didn't click on. I was at work, and I meant to do it later. But Tobias Forge wanted to do Am I Going Insane?
Oh, I saw that too, yeah.
And I don't know why that didn't come about. Did you read it?
Yeah, but it still didn't really say. It just said, like, they said no, is all it said, something along those lines. If I remember right. It didn't give a real reason other than they just told him no.
Right.
But
well,
that would have been...
Oh, yeah.
That would have been good.
So let's talk about Youngblood and Changes.
Okay.
What did you think of that?
I thought it was good.
Right.
I mean, I don't... Like, I've heard the guy's name before, but didn't know anything much about him. I remember you sent me that photo the night before of the group shot, and you're like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
And then I finally had saw it later on, like someone mentioning who it was. And, kind of after reading the whole history of him with Ozzy and how they're supposedly close and, like, it's a cool addition, even though, like, metal dorks want to say he shouldn't be there. I mean, it's just like you said, this is celebrating...
Oh, yeah, who cares?
This is celebrating everything. This is celebrating, the wide-ranging impact of, Black Sabbath. You got KK Downing on stage that basically came out a year after they did. Mm-hmm. And then you've got a guy that's been around for a few years that is like, giving you Ozzy vibes, whether he's heavy metal or not,
Right.
So to me, it was cool. He sounded great. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I never heard of the guy in my life. I was just floored. I thought it was fucking great. And you've got these metal guys, Frank Bello and all behind him and stuff. Yeah, it's just so fucking cool. Yeah, and I remember reading afterwards, he was talking with Tom Morello, like about what song they should do, and he told Tom Morello, he's like, "Give me the ballad, I'll bring the house down," and just that confidence. Yeah, that was awesome.
And you've got to have
that. I love that. And
because
you have to have that.
Yeah,
you have to have that confidence to do that.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to be exposed if he's not a good singer singing that song specifically. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I want to talk about
Hellstorm,
Vernon Reid. I want to talk about all that shit. I want to, since we're in the supergroup shit, let's do that before we start.
Oh, okay. The single band stuff.
Yeah.
Like the other, I mentioned Whitfield Crane, but seeing him sing Believer
with
Mike
great.
Borden. That's like Mike Borden and Whitfield Crane on a stage singing an Ozzy song is like a fucking wet dream of mine when I was 15, I think, did I have much? What were your thoughts on?
Well, I have right here, I have the
Billy
list.
Corgan. Billy Corgan.
List of the musicians, but doesn't have the songs they sang.
So what is your thoughts on
AI sucks.
Billy Corgan with KK Downing doing Breaking the Law? I just wanted to hear what your thoughts were on this. Because he didn't sound bad, but it just sounded weird. It was, his voice is not right for that.
I love that KK Downing was there. I don't love that Billy Corgan was there.
Okay, yeah.
But that doesn't mean anything.
Nah.
I don't...
he's always been vocal about his love of Sabbath and metal.
Well, I don't think that Billy Corgan's bad. It's just not my thing.
Oh, no.
So, it's like,
but I'm just saying, I thought it just came off kind of weird. I don't know. It sounded good, but it didn't sound like something I gave a shit about, I guess is the way to put it. And, okay. So Vernon Reid was on stage with Nuno Bettencourt and Sammy Hagar, another kind of 15-year-old wet dream of mine. Right. Coming to fruition. And that, before I even heard it, I'm like, holy fuck, that's like picking a song for an artist, I'm like, Sammy Hagar, Flying High Again, like, how perfect is that?
Yeah.
Like, just in my head, and then hearing it, I'm like, yeah, this is like, I can't think of another Ozzy song that would have fucking worked better for Sammy Hagar.
Right, and that's one of my most favorite Ozzy songs.
Yeah. I mean, did you like Hagar on it?
Oh, yeah, I did. I loved it. I mean...
Because it fits right into that wheelhouse of what Sammy Hagar does, you know?
Anything that guy does is awesome.
Yeah.
You know? And if we're still on Vernon Reid, which I will
of course,
always love to talk about, it's like I texted you, never in my life did I think that I would hear Tobias Forge go, Vernon, hit it, and go into Bark at the Moon.
Right.
Or was it Bark at the Moon?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Like all these things, would you think you would see Vernon Reid playing Bark at the Moon? But then would you think you would hear Tobias Forge saying, hit it, Vernon?
I'm like, this is amazing.
Right.
And again, this is the kind of stuff that my 15-year-old brain, my 15-year-old person that lives inside my brain loves. Like, that whole combination of different people. It's like,
yeah.
I was like, this is amazing. I love this, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it was great.
One thing,
and it doesn't even, and just the fact that it's happening is enough for me. It doesn't have to sound perfect.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Just the fact that there's all these different combos of all my favorite musicians doing this stuff.
Of course.
You know, it's like I've said before with, you know, whatever favorite record I like or whatever. It's like these motherfuckers got together and said, you know what? There's this dude in Oklahoma. He's a huge nerd for all of us.
He'd love Category 7.
Yeah, exactly. He'd love if just this certain group of us got together and did a semi-obscure Ozzy song. Let's do it, whatever. You know, it's like, it's like you guys know me and you don't know me. So I just revel in it. I love it.
I think the coolest thing is that, like, because I mean, I know that a lot of people watching this are like diehard people like us, but there's going to be some people watching this that are just like not massive geeks like us.
Right.
They're watching for Ozzy and Metallica and Guns N' Roses and Pantera or something. But like, and then they see Vernon Reid on stage and like, holy fuck, oh yeah, I forgot about Living Colour. Or see Nuno, they're like, oh yeah, I wonder Extreme, or, you know, or Whitfield Crane, Ugly Kid Joe. I don't know, I think that maybe it's not going to lead to some kind of resurgence, but it might lead to some of these people like going back and checking out more Living Colour.
Well,
or
think
more
about
Ugly Kid
it
Joe
though.
or something, you know.
Even if it doesn't, think about it, dude. When we were 16, did you ever think for 1 minute when we were 48 that we would sit here talking about all the same dudes
right,
doing all this stuff and being just as talented and just as relevant?
Right.
Hell no.
Yeah.
So it's a very valuable thing.
Yeah, that's true. A final note on that. I'm sure unless you can think of something on the supergroup stuff, Simp to the Universe would have been a hell of a lot better if it had a vocal instead of just...
Well, they just did that drum thing.
I understand that, you know, we're doing something a little different.
Yeah.
But again, it's the hatred for Travis Barker and me, probably. Chad Smith is fucking great. We know that.
Right.
I can't even remember who the third... Or Danny Carey is fucking amazing. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are... Obviously, Travis Barker is good, too. But we know these guys are good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool, but I don't know. Just to me... Just my fan dork thing is like, this would have been cooler without that and with just adding Max Cavalera or something in here.
Yeah,
you know?
I think that would have been better to just do another song than just have a drum thing, whatever. That was dumb.
Yeah.
But, whatever. I mean, so.
And then I think that's... Did you see anything on the list of supergroups that remind you besides Vernon Reid that you wanted to mention?
Let me check
because everything else I have on my list looks to be like all band or specific band related.
I mean, it was cool because you had... Okay, well, I think this is a good place to mention this. I mean, you had Andrew Watt and Ronnie Wood.
Oh,
that was cool.
Andrew Watt.
You know, let's not forget you had Adam Wakeman, who has been
and
Sabbath and Ozzy's keyboard player for years.
And sitting prominently on stage.
Instead of behind a tent like when we saw him with Sabbath.
Yeah.
But, here's the thing that I was going to bring up.
Oh, I thought of one more supergroup thing that we didn't mention before.
That's okay.
After you.
And I'm looking through this. Again, the supergroup deal.
Mr. Crowley.
Who did Sweet Leaf?
David Draymond.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Anyway.
But I can't remember if that was with Vernon Reed or...
No.
Because he was out there during the Jakey Lee stuff.
Yeah, that was Jakey Lee, Nuno, David Ellison, Mike Borden.
So David Draymond came back, I guess. That wasn't like consecutive like the other ones.
Yeah. So, anyways, here's my thing is, we kind of touched on Blasco earlier. I think it would have been anybody who's alive that helped Ozzy out. I think it's shitty that Bob Daisley wasn't there.
Oh, of course. I almost said that earlier when we were talking about Jakey Lee, but I figured we knew that Jakey Lee was a long shot, but Bob Daisley was like a no shot.
No, yeah. and it's like you can't just bury the hatchet. I think that, was in the whole thing of Ozzy was Gus G, monumental? No, but he was on a fucking record.
Yeah.
And Joe Holmes was never on a fucking record.
But he was there for a good period.
But he was there for a long goddamn time, and he was in the videos.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to have those dudes there.
Yeah, at least come out for a song or something,
Yeah, but whatever. I mean, that wasn't up to me, and,
I've got what I feel is a bigger mission than those guys. If we're talking about Ozzy players, which is Tommy Aldridge.
Oh shit! No kidding.
You're celebrating.
How did I forget about that?
You're celebrating the history.
Oh my god!
Of not only Ozzy but rock and roll.
I'm slipping in my old age.
I mean, outside of just the Ozzy stuff, you've got fucking you said,
you're right.
Steven Tyler, Sammy Hagar, Ronnie Wood, KK Downing. You've got these other legends. Why isn't this motherfucker on this?
You are right. Wow, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
there is no argument there. So yeah, it's just those kind of omissions. It's like, well, whatever. Okay.
But one more supergroup thing.
Yeah.
Quote unquote supergroup. Mr. Crowley with Jack Black and Tom Morello's son and Scotty Ian's son. Like, what were your thoughts on that? It was pretty damn good.
That was really cool. I did not know that Revel Ian I thought he was just a drummer.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that he played guitar and stuff. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, and if you go to Roman Morello's Instagram, I mean, that kid's a shredder. He does all kinds of stuff.
And so I mean, he's just like, wow. A kid like that sounded good playing Randy Rhoads, And
the future, the sky's the limit for those kids.
Yeah.
Listen, think about Revel Ian. One, his dad is Scotty Ian. Two, his mom is Pearl, which is an amazing singer, and his grandpa's fucking Meatloaf. Right. I mean, there's no other thing that you're going to do in your life than be amazing at music, okay?
Right.
Like, even if you don't want to, tough shit.
Yeah. You're
going to be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So, when we're old men, that kid's going to be like, Wolf Van Halen or something.
Yeah.
Seriously.
He'll be playing at the tribute to Rival Sons because they're disbanding or something.
Exactly. I mean, it's just fucking insane. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it was cool how they, did a good job of mimicking, he did the Mr. Crowley,
oh, yeah.
He was dressed up and then he even lifted him up like the tribute.
The fringes, yeah.
The Randy Rhoads tribute cover and all that, but yeah. I guess the next thing would be all the band situations. All the bands that performed throughout the day. Like I said, a couple of them I saw their full show, but most of them I kind of just watched their Sabbath or Ozzy cover. To me, one of the points of this whole show to me is like watching Rival Sons perform Electric Funeral and how cool it was. And then just for Rival Sons to be totally overshadowed in this entire thing is just baffling to me. For me as a fan, because it's like I keep forgetting they were even at the show. And I'm saying that because if someone's listening don't know how much I fucking love this band. I know you feel the same.
Oh, yeah.
But just like that's how monumental everything we've been talking about is that this band that I'm a massive fan of, it just keeps getting lost in my head that they're even there. And then when I watch him play Electric Funeral and he's up there emulating Ozzy with ease, I mean, it's fucking amazing as you would expect it to be.
Is it because they're just not as heavy as the other bands?
Well, I think it's just because there's
that
so much other stuff going on.
Because to me, it all works together.
I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying it just gets lost in my mind because of Nuno, Vernon Reid, Anthrax.
See, I don't know. It doesn't
Yeah.
get lost to me, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, well, no, I've got it, and you don't. I'm not trying to do that fucking vibe, but like this band is just on every level that all the other bands are to me.
Oh, they are to me as well. But I'm just saying that's why it's kind of shocking to me that I keep letting it like slip my mind. Yeah,
Right. But I mean, Electric Feet, their version of that was amazing. That band is always just on point live. So
yeah,
Jay Buchanan just commands the stage.
Yeah,
better than anybody.
Yeah,
they were just awesome.
Said it a ton of times, and I still believe it. I feel like in 40 years, people will be talking about them the way we talk about Aerosmith or Led Zeppelin or Ozzy.
I hope so.
I mean, I could be wrong, but that's just.
Hope so.
I feel like they're on that slow trajectory to finally get to that level they should be at. But another quick one. I mean, I don't imagine we're going to sit here and talk about Tool very long. you
don't
might
want to.
I mean, neither one of us have ever been.
Yeah.
I mean, you were early on, but neither one of us have really ever been big fans. But I do want to point out that "Hand of Doom" is the perfect song for Tool.
They did a really.
They fucking nailed it. It's one of those songs that
did.
Very much fits that genre. It shows how much Black Sabbath and Tony Iommi's riffs and Geezer Butler's songs impacted so many areas of metal.
Right.
Just
they
like
did
that.
a great version of that, and I don't. Tool wore out their welcome with me eons ago.
Right.
Over 2 decades ago. Whatever, that's fine. Doesn't mean they're not good, because they're great.
Oh, they're fantastic musicians. I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. But what I like the weirdness of it. I like that motherfucker has like a riser on the stage right by the drum set and stays in the back and sings. I love that.
Yeah.
I don't know what it means. It's not for me, but it's just hilarious because
I love it because it pisses people off.
That's it. Yeah, that's what it is. It pisses everyone off. I love it.
Yeah.
But I mean, here's something that I want to get into is Mastodon.
Yeah. Which
for years I just really didn't pay attention to, but the last few years I've really just gotten more and more into. Still not super into, because I don't know if I could tell you more than a couple songs. But, they did Supernaut, which I thought was really fucking cool.
Yeah.
And they brought, those dudes up on stage to play drums.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, that's another one that was a perfect choice for that band, I believe.
And I think that was a good opener for the whole day.
Yeah.
But they Supernaut, and they brought Danny Carey, Eloy Casagrande, and Mario Duplantier to do the drums.
That's right.
The drumming thing in the end.
Yeah.
So I really thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
And I mean, I would, like you said, a great way to kick the thing off, because to me, as a fan, that's one of my. Would put that in the top 5 or 10 Sabbath songs,
And that's another one of like the omissions, like where was Slipknot?
Oh yeah, for sure.
But he was there.
What's his name was there?
Kelly Osbourne's man was there.
I guess he was like actually on stage, right?
So maybe just some of them couldn't do it.
Because I think that dude was a part of it.
Who?
Sid Wilson. Like, I think he was DJing between some stuff.
Oh, he was? So maybe like some of the Slipknot dudes couldn't do it or something.
Well, I mean, I had that listed on my omissions. Like, Corey Taylor is one of the number one people I'm shocked wasn't there, so there must have been some other reason.
That do have been. So, okay, so we hit Mastodon, we hit Rival Sons, then it's Anthrax. Indians, and then Into the Void. And that's all they did. Right,
which kind of surprised me, but I guess Into the Void's long,
Yeah, so there you go.
That was, I had a few things written down about Anthrax I wanted to mention. That Into the Void, that, another all-time classic Sabbath song, that riff, to me, is kind of like ground zero of stoner metal.
Oh yeah.
You know, like if that rep didn't exist, would we have had, Caius and Down and Clutch? Maybe not. Who knows? But seeing them do that, they're gonna nail it. That band's so fucking good all the time. We love them. And Joey Belladonna could, fucking sing the phone book.
That guy can sing anything.
He can sing anything. He just sang "Magic Power" by Triumph, and it fucking rules.
Except in My Evil, but whatever.
Oh, he does Journey fantastic. He's got a Journey tribute band. Yeah.
Right.
So my question for you is, did you ever see a photo of what was written on the back of John Denye's shirt?
No.
I mean, so I just wondered, because, you saw their shirts, right?
Yeah, they had like "I Know Me" and whatever, right?
But his hair was covering his, so I'm like, did his also say "I Owe Me"?
I would assume.
Okay.
I don't know. I would just figure. I saw a thing. If you go to Anthrax's website, you can order those.
Oh, really? That's smart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Yeah. Which one would you buy? The "I Owe Me" one, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I might go in there and order the Giza Bella one.
You should. You really should.
Right.
You really should.
So who was after Anthrax?
Hellstorm.
Okay. So
let's get into this.
Yep.
Okay. So here's my thing. They did Love Bites. That's cool. They did another song, whatever. Okay, Perry Mason. This is what we really.
This is what we're talking about. Yeah.
Here's the thing: is like I knew because there was this just in the press releases and all the shit leading up to this. Everyone knew everyone's to do a Black Sabbath song. I didn't know that Ozzy was up for grabs. I didn't know whatever, and I should have, whatever. That's cool. But when they started going into Perry Mason, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. Oh, so they were the first band to do that, right?
Yeah. Look, not only are they going into an Ozzy song, they're going into a more modern day Ozzy song.
Which at this point is 30 years old.
I know. Well, that's how old our old asses are.
Right.
And it was just like, and look, I've seen this band live a lot of times, and I love this band. I love Lizzie Hale. I think they're great. I don't own one goddamn single fucking record by them. I just, it's not a huge thing for me, but I've seen them live a lot, and I think they're awesome. But they just, it's just kind of like a whatever thing.
Yeah.
But man, that fucking cover of Perry Mason was amazing.
Yeah.
It was really fucking good.
That's one thing. That band's always been good with covers. They released a few cover EPs back in the day,
The Skid Row songs to the Daft Punk songs. It's all good. It's all amazing.
They killed Lady Gaga's Bad Romance. Yes, Guns N' Roses Out to Get Me. Still of the Night by Whitesnake. It's like fucking great. Her voice is like otherworldly. It's like pure. It's just what you want. It's pure rock and roll.
Yeah.
And that band, to me, is one of those bands. Like same thing. I don't own any of their music. I'll go see them live anytime.
Oh yeah.
But I fully believe like people are like, who's the next headliners? I'm like, well, there's one of them.
Yep. Absolutely.
Even though they're still at that level where they're right below a festival headliner, in my opinion, they're going to be there in the next few years or 10 years.
Well, they're headlining sheds with a Volbeat this summer.
Yeah.
It's like a co-thing. So it's coming.
Yeah. But I wish that I had, because I was thinking about this, I wish I had that experience you had where I got to see it and be shocked by it. Because I saw it like come across my feed, something like, Hellstorm does Perry Mason.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, fuck.
I had no idea. And then I'm like, when the bass player dude went to the keyboards, and I'm like, no, he's teasing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit, they're going to do this? Motherfucker.
Right.
It was quite a surprise.
Yeah.
And, Melissa was over here saying, like, what's the big deal? I'm like, no, you don't get it.
It's just another
This
song.
is like, they're going deep.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
So.
It's the solo Ozzy version of, Metallica doing Johnny Blade or, Guns N' Roses doing Junior's Eyes or something.
Yes, exactly.
It's like,
absolutely.
Even though it's not as obscure to people as those songs, it's still like not, you didn't expect that song at all.
Yeah. It's like Gojira doing Raising Hell or something.
Right.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
Right. Or we could get like Zach Wild up there doing Old LA Tonight by himself.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know.
But yeah, so that was, and that in turn was the only Ozzy song to come out post 80s that got performed besides Mama I'm Coming Home by Ozzy himself.
Yep.
So very cool point there in my opinion. So who was next on the lineup?
Lamb of God.
Okay. Yeah. We know these guys deliver live. We've said this a million times. They're one of the best metal live bands there is. And as soon as I heard what they covered, I was like, holy fuck, that's perfect.
Right.
And then you hear it, it's perfect. And then that night they released a studio of it, version of it, and it's fucking perfect.
Yep, exactly. So here's the thing, is like, Laid to Rest, Redneck, they did their two most popular songs, of course.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, what Sabbath song are they doing? And they did Children of the Grave. And here's the thing.
And I even liked his intro, because he gave a better intro than most people, but anyway.
He did.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, then go look it up.
Yeah. But,
here's the thing. It's always kind of a polarizing deal with when Randy Blythe sings.
Yeah.
And, is it the best thing in the world? No, but he does it so sparsely that if he's doing it, probably fits.
Yeah.
Or probably, and he had no problem doing it. And then everything else about the song, about their cover, is fucking on point and badass. So that was great.
Yeah.
And then to see a few hours later they released the studio version of it, it's like they knew what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
And the studio version of it is just amazing.
Yeah.
And I posted about this. I told you, and I'm going to go into it right now. Is that there's a few covers of Sabbath songs that I just think are amazing and above the rest. Faith No More's War Pigs and Sepultura doing Symptom of the Universe from, and I think those are both from Nativity in Black. Is Faith No More's on Nativity in Black?
It's actually on there, but it was released before. It's the only song I think that was released before that.
Okay.
Because it was on...
Right. And
it was on the Real Thing and on Live from Books and Canon. Anyway. Yeah.
To me, those are like the quintessential Sabbath covers. And yes, White Zombie's cover of the song was great, but this song but Lamb of God's cover is just worlds just above that.
Yeah.
And this is just, and so this is just up there with those to me.
Yeah. That's kind of, I don't think I wrote it down, but I was thinking of that. The majority, all my favorite Sabbath covers are from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you said, War Pigs by Faith No More, A Symptom of the Universe by Sepultura, Ugly Kid Joe, N.I.B., and possibly my favorite is Soundgarden, Into the Void.
Mm-hmm.
But this, like you said, this is easily on a top 10 covers of all time, in my opinion now.
Absolutely.
Sabbath covers of all time. But,
yeah, they nailed it.
Yeah.
And while we're on the subject of that song, that is another omission that I kind of really thought they would do some kind of thing with Rob Zombie or something.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the first person that came to my mind that I was surprised wasn't there.
Yeah.
So what was after that?
Alice in Chains.
Okay. I had several notes because to me, I feel like Alice in Chains kind of gets lost in the mix of all this other stuff going on. Mm-hmm. Like when people are talking about this. And, they played one of Sabbath's best songs. They fucking nailed it, like as you would expect. And Alice in Chains at its core is a fucking, Black Sabbath disciple. Jerry Cantrell.
Yeah.
He has Tony Iommi written all over his music, and like... But I really loved William Duvall's jacket.
Yeah.
Because it very much fit the Ozzy vibe. He had the fringe going.
He had some fringe, dude.
And then, obviously, it was awesome to see Sean Kinney on stage, back.
Right.
Good to go.
We don't know what happened, but I would imagine it's just something where he can't really do a long... But he couldn't do a long set, but maybe he can do a few songs, so that's okay.
And then getting to see Mike Inez, only, like we said, do that and the Ozzy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
To me, it was just... like I said, it's obviously awesome. You know, it's not going to not be awesome. But cool to see him do Ferrer's wear boots, you know.
Right. Yeah, Gojira.
Gojira's getting some respect on their placement on the lineup, right?
Yeah, they are.
As should be, you know. My major note from this is I could watch Gojira do a set of Black Sabbath songs every day of the week based off of that one fucking song.
They should do more.
Just based off of seeing them do Under the Sun. Like, that was...
And I get it, you know, the mea culpa thing from the Olympics. They're going to get some traction out of that for a while.
Yeah.
And you know what?
And that was cool. I watched that where they brought out the opera singer.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Do that.
Yeah.
Do that. That's cool. But yeah, their Black Sabbath cover was awesome. And, you know, Stranded, Silvera, all that shit's amazing anyways.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen them. I've seen them a million times. And it's always fucking brutal.
Yeah.
You know?
And like we said early on, you know, it's like great to see the cross section of bands that are extremely relevant. They're probably the most relevant metal band in the world at the moment, based off of the Olympics, you know, still.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I told you years ago they're like a distinguished gentleman's metal band.
Right.
They're like the you know, you want to put on a nice suit or something.
Right.
So Pantera's next.
Pantera, okay.
Because we did all the supergroup stuff.
I did not write. What did they do? Oh, they did Electric Funeral and
Planet Caravan.
Planet Caravan, of course.
Yep.
You know.
And Cowboys from Hell and Walk.
Of course, yeah. I'm unabashedly. I don't even want to start this conversation. How about that?
I get it. No,
I don't want to start the Pantera Guns N' Roses conversations at all because I could rattle on way too long. But Pantera, I've said it many times, I unabashedly defend this version of Pantera.
Right.
You know, Electric Funeral was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd lean towards Rival Sons on that just because it was new and unique. A little more unique.
You know what?
And plus it's Buchanan, like you said.
I don't know who decided Electric Funeral first, and it wouldn't matter to me.
Right.
But if I thought, they're doing, okay, we'll do something different.
Yeah. Well, that was a weird kind of caveat to the whole thing, because there was only 2 songs played twice. One of them was Mr. Crowley, you know, and that's a unique thing because one was Ozzy and one was Jack Black and recorded.
Oh, that's right, but that was different.
So that's different. So Electric Funeral was really the only song that was performed by 2 covers.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just a thing. They just said, sure, go for it. Who knows? But obviously, they did a great job. Sounds great.
Right.
That band's fucking amazing. It's, you know, my 2 favorite drummers of all time were both on the stage at this show. You know?
Yeah.
2 or 3 of my favorite guitarists of all time were there. So it's like, hey, you know, can't complain about that. But I mean, I know that you're kind of back and forth on the whole Pantera deal these days. But,
I mean, I am, but I'm not, but I am.
Right.
But I'm not.
I get it.
But I am, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen them, so I can't say shit. All I know is, and this is all I'm going to say. Are we good? Yeah. Okay. This is all I'm going to say is they're very smart in using the terminology, this is a celebration.
Oh, yeah.
Pantera.
Yeah. And he opens every set by dedicating it to him. You know, their photos are on the drum set.
So there you go.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah. I mean, the next band on the list is the same thing, and they're missing the damn songwriter. They're, you know.
Oh, I know, and that's the thing, too.
I didn't even watch their set.
Yeah. You can't blame Charlie Benante. You can't blame Zakk Wylde. I'd do it too.
Oh yeah.
So, well, we've got Tool, Slayer, Guns N' Roses, and Metallica left to go. Do we want to just blast through that?
I mean, is it possible? I don't know that we can, but we can try. I can sum up Slayer in 30 seconds. I didn't watch it because I don't give a fuck.
I can sum up Tool really quick.
Well, we already did Tool.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah. Because I did that. I started it way out of order.
That's fine. Okay. Well,
but no, let's just kind of barrel into it. You know, not talking shit. I didn't watch Slayer's performance a set. I didn't watch a single second of it because I didn't give a fuck. I love Slayer, but they just bore the fuck out of me these days, and I don't even care that they're back.
Wow.
That's the
That's
end of it.
brutal. What brought that on?
That's just, I don't know.
Because I'm like, what?
I've even saw him live after Kerry King, his interviews annoy the shit out of me. I don't give a fuck.
You know the red ass about Slayer? Because you should know that every band is going to come back no matter what they say.
Oh, no, I'm not against them coming back. I just said I don't give a fuck. It's like watching a Chevelle show or something. Well, it's just like...
goddamn.
It's like, okay, there it is. You're doing the same exact thing every fucking night. You say the same exact thing every fucking night. You know, I would rather watch Axl Rose sound half-assed than watch Tom Araya say the same exact fucking thing every night.
Now I know that you just really never liked Slayer ever, so whatever.
No, they played Disciple, which is my favorite Slayer song.
Right.
But I've seen it play it live a bunch, and it sounds exactly the same as it does every time. Which is fine.
I know
AC/DC does the same thing.
They did do only one Sabbath song.
Which also, I remember texting you that also annoyed the shit out of me. Like, you're playing 7 songs.
Because a lot of the later headlining groups, like Metallica, Guns N' Roses, did a lot of did more than one.
Yeah. Metallica did 2 out of their, 4 or 5 songs. Guns N' Roses did 3 out of their 6 songs. I mean, like, come on.
Well, all right. Well, everybody, that was Trent Shanehals's
and
recap of
I know how Slayer fans are, you know. But if someone made it this far into the thing, you know, they're probably like, all right.
And hey, Tom Araya has aged in 5 years.
Really?
Since we've seen him.
Maybe I should watch it just to see what he sounds like these days or what they sound like, but you know.
Well, what about Guns N' Roses? Because now you're going to hear some shit from me.
Well, you better hurry up. Get out.
Well, look, I just don't get... I mean, that guy is in the Vince Neil category for me. And that's all I'm going to say.
That's pretty crazy. But
it's total... Guns N' Roses, for me, it's a total nostalgia thing. They know that it doesn't matter... It doesn't matter how that guy sounds. And I hate saying this because you and I have been like, we've been really good friends, best friends since we were 5. I don't fucking want to say anything cross, you know, because
you can say what you want. It's not gonna hurt my feelings.
It makes me feel bad, but the guy sounds like fucking hammered dog shit. Goddamn, and you know, it's like he sounds like he's in the same arena as Vince Neil.
But he's in tune, and Vince Neil is not in tune. He doesn't sound like Axl Rose, but he's in tune.
I don't know if it was even in tune, bro.
No, I'll defend him on that. He sounds nothing like he should.
But
he needs to drop his register, but he can't.
Well, now, if he could do that, maybe.
He could, but he can't because that's the whole sound. He's in a position where he can't fucking... If he would just drop his register and sing like he does on like Pretty Tied Up or like Bad Obsession, and if he would sing Welcome to the Jungle like that,
okay,
it would be
amazing.
amazing.
I give you that, but I'm just saying it was rough. Yeah. But I will say that their set list choice and their pick of the songs was fucking stellar.
Yeah, I was shocked.
We're gonna do badass Sabbath songs and we're gonna do obscure Sabbath songs.
Yeah, I was shocked with Junior's eyes, like.
Yes.
Like hearing that, you know, I thought that was actually the best that Axl sounded on those few songs. But, yeah. And
so you admit he sounded like shit. Okay,
no,
thanks.
I admit that I don't like the way he sounds.
That's in Thunder Underground. Thank you very much for tuning in.
I've told you. He doesn't sound like Axl Rose, but he doesn't sound... He's not anywhere near Vince Neil level. I would take him over Tom Araya any day. Go on.
Ladies and gentlemen, Trent will throw a full beer at my head when this recording's over. So we're good on that. So now all we need to do is...
So now then Lars got up there and couldn't even keep time during battery.
See? Okay.
So what was that about?
So now we got to go to Metallica real quick. No. Hey, Lars is Lars.
But he can usually keep time during battery. What was up with that?
Well, I thought he did all right. I didn't hear anything weird.
It was just totally off. It was weird sounding.
I don't know. Now you're fucking with me. I see how it is. I didn't like Guns N' Roses. That's fine.
But no, Johnny Blade was really cool. What were your thoughts as a big Metallica fan on Johnny Blade?
I was surprised.
I mean, Hole in the Sky was awesome, but Johnny Blade was like out of left field.
Here and there you go. Hole in the Sky, okay. I didn't think about this one from them.
Which to me, Pantera, I still love that a little better. That's
Yeah,
also on that list of top tens. But
their version of Pantera's version of "Hole in the Sky" is fucking stellar.
Yeah.
Probably better than Metallica's. I'll give you that.
That should be on that list from earlier.
I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay, they like to do different shit. Fair enough. But then when they came with Johnny Blade, I was sitting in there on my couch like, what? This is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't even know if this is good or not. But look, this is what they're doing. So that was, yeah. So that was cool.
Yeah.
It was kind of like when they did that acoustic thing a few years ago and did the Garbage song. Like, you didn't know this was coming.
They did a song by Garbage?
Yeah, Only Happy When It Rains.
No shit.
At one of those Neil Young benefit things, yeah.
Bridge benefit or what you call it?
Bridge school, yeah. Like, whoa,
what?
Okay.
How did I miss that? I don't know if I...
Well, we'll go in here and listen to it in a minute.
All right.
But yeah, no, there you go. That was my thing, so there you go.
If we're still going, I don't know. My real
How many
quick
minutes do we have?
Was, because we mentioned Rob Zombie and Corey Taylor, Dave Grohl is another big omission, which we know he's got his shit going on, but I figured with as much as he loves this stuff, he still would have made an appearance.
He's, yeah. And, how much time do we have left?
Honestly, can't say. Like 2 minutes and a half.
I love the whole Dave Ellefson went on his social media and took pictures with everybody, even the Metallica people, even Lars's kids, just because he knew fucking Dave Mustaine would see it and get the fucking red ass about it.
Right.
And so he just wanted to do that just to fucking stick it in that guy's side.
Hell yeah.
And I think that's hilarious. It's petty as shit. But it's funny as fuck. Hello. Okay.
And he deserved to be there because he's fucking Dave Ellefson.
Right. And the same thing with KK Downing. Not a vengeful vibe, because I don't think that's there, but it was cool that he was there.
I think it was more like they brought him in since Judas Priest couldn't do it.
Yeah, because they legally, or not
respectively,
legally, but they just, logistically couldn't do it.
Yeah. Pepper Keenan is my number one person I wish was there.
Yeah, I know.
And then, Jason Momoa, I was totally cool with it. I saw people crying and complaining. I'm like, I'm glad they got.
Who cares? That guy's fine.
I'm glad they got a celebrity that is obvious.
You need a big, that
is an obvious true fan of fucking rock and metal. You see this guy, the past 2 or 3 years at Metallica, Pantera, Alice in Chains shows in the fucking pit with everybody. Mm-hmm. This isn't just a dude that's doing it for show for one night,
Mm-hmm.
But I think that covered my notes.
All right, well, hey, that works for me.
Is that good? Nothing else you need to throw in for the past 10 seconds? Or?
Nah, I think we're good. Axl Rose sucks. All right.
Copy that. There you go. Huge thank you to Jason for coming back and joining me once again for another discussion. We had, I would say, hundreds of those. Not just throughout the years, but on this podcast. This podcast is now over a decade old. Over the first, nearly 6.5 years, we're with Jason. So I'm super happy. Anytime he comes back and we discuss something, this was definitely one of those things that I, wanted to have him as a part of because I knew how much this show meant to him and I knew he would have a good perspective on a lot of the stuff. I was out of town working when it was going on, but I saw some videos that was happening, but he, ordered the live stream, as many of you probably did, and watched it as it was happening. Well, I guess it was a 2-hour delay is what I heard, but you know what I'm saying. Watched it the day of. So again, thank you to Jason for making his way back to Thunder Underground once again, and I can promise you that won't be the last time. I knew I should have. Why is this just now hitting me? I can hit pause, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna talk and say that I should have wrote down who at this event has been on this podcast before, because I know there's several. Off the top of my head, Vernon Reid. One of the cooler experiences I've ever had doing this podcast. Vernon Reid and the singer of Living Colour, Corey Glover, were both on here earlier last year. David Ellefson of Megadeth, who was out there as well during the supergroup stuff, has been on this podcast a couple times. I believe, I know there's some others, I'm just drawing a blank. Dizzy Reed from Guns N' Roses has been on here before. Well, see, I should have wrote this stuff down. Dizzy Reed from Guns N' Roses has been on this podcast, but that's something that I might have thought of if we had more time there at the end, but like I talked about up front, the end of that was kind of rushed when we were going through Guns N' Roses, Metallica, and Slayer, because I realized I was running out of time on my memory card, and I wasn't at home, so I didn't have the tools to, amend that on the fly. But what I'm trying to say is Dizzy Reed did not perform with Guns N' Roses, and this is the first time that Guns N' Roses has performed without him since before he joined. This is the first time that Guns N' Roses performed as a 5-piece since 1990. So over the past 35 years, there's always been at least 6 people on that stage. And currently it's him and Melissa Reese who were not on that stage that have been in the band for quite a while. And of course, Dizzy's been in the band for longer than anyone besides Axl, 35 years now. But again, all this stuff, all that is to say that, there's 425 episodes previous to this that you can check out. All kinds of great musicians, all kinds of great artists across the board, whether it be the metal stuff like members of Megadeth, Testament, the Black Dahlia Murder. Oh, here's one, Hellstorm. There's another big one. Hellstorm played. RJ Hell from Hellstorm was on here a couple years ago, and that was a great episode. That dude, is a great person to talk to. Members of Shinedown, Clutch, Hatebreed, Seven Dust, Motley Crue, Whitesnake, Kiss. Gene Simmons has been on here. Twisted Sister, Dee Snider, Jeff Tate, formerly of Queensryche, Glenn Hughes of Deep Purple fame, and of course Black Sabbath has been on here a couple times, and you never know. Maybe a third time coming soon. Maybe. Also had on Michael Monroe, and he just announced a tour with Buck Cherry coming up here in a month or two. Buck Cherry, Josh Todd has been on here a couple times. Members of Saliva, Trapped, Three Doors Down, Breaking Benjamin, Tesla, Great White, Slaughter, Kix, Lillian Axe. Man, I could just keep rambling, and keep rambling. Leonard Skinner, Vanilla Ice has been on here. That's all you need to hear, right? Now you're hooked. TheThunderUnderground.com. You can hear everything there. You can find all the links to all the socials, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I post content almost on a daily basis. Not just from this podcast, but whether it be music news, old clips of interviews and concerts, all kinds of stuff. So give me a follow on all those socials. You can find the links right there at TheThunderUnderground.com. Wherever you're listening to this right now, hit follow, like, subscribe so you don't miss those future episodes. Got one coming up very soon with a young blues artist named Polly Boy Blues out of the Maryland, Washington, D.C. area. He will be on this podcast coming up very shortly. Just recorded that one recently. Got a couple other things scheduled. I'll announce once they happen. But be on the lookout for that. Like I said, follow on all the socials. Thank you for listening. Of course, all that great stuff throughout the years. Much appreciated. Super stoked that Back to the Beginning is something that has happened. And it's ranked already. We are right over 2 weeks out from it. And it's already being compared to the Freddie Mercury tribute to Live Aid. Situations that are at a level like that. There's also big events like the Taylor Hawkins, tribute was amazing. The Chris Cornell tribute in LA was amazing as well. But this deal with Ozzy, has gone to another level, and it's so amazing. Something that we didn't mention that I do need to say, it's so amazing, I think. Maybe we mentioned that, I forgot, but to be able to see something like this happen when someone's still alive. Because granted, we don't think, in Ozzy's condition, who knows? He could be in here 6 months or 16 years. We don't know. But the fact that he was able to get up there and perform in his health and his condition is amazing. And the fact that all 4 members of an iconic band that debuted over, 55 years ago now? That's insanity to me. That all 4 of these guys can get on stage. The 4 original members. There's bands out there that have been around that long. Judas Priest, the Scorpions, the Rolling Stones. But all these bands don't have their full original members. Aerosmith, they're not touring, but, they're still active. The members of Led Zeppelin that are alive are still active, but none of these bands are able to do it. Guys in their late 70s, all four on stage, that not just were iconic, but they basically shifted the shape of music. They created an entire genre of music that then split off into assloads of other genres of music. They created the heavy metal sound, which then branched off into so much other. So you can't express enough. You could never overrate this band enough. You could never overrate Tony Iommi's influence on guitar and riff making. You can never overstate Ozzy's influence as a frontman, as a live entity. You can never overstate Geezer Butler's influence as a songwriter, as a bass player, just as an all-around cool dude. Read his book, by the way. You can never understate Bill Ward's influence, because he brought a style of drumming into something heavy which didn't really exist at that time. So these four guys together created something amazing, and we got the chance to watch it celebrated by other artists, whether they be in their 70s like Sabbath or in their 20s. Get up there on stage and celebrate this, and we got to enjoy it, and we'll get to enjoy it for years and years and years to come, thanks to things like YouTube and things like your own computer that you can download shit on. But all right, I'm going to quit rambling. This episode is way fucking longer than most episodes these days. We've got some old ones that went a couple hours. Longest episode ever was another kind of tribute episode. I wouldn't call this a tribute episode. This is more of a discussion episode, but we had a tribute to Eddie Van Halen after he passed away. And it's almost 4 hours long because we had 14 guests on it. Because, Eddie Van Halen, just like Black Sabbath, is up there in rare air as far as being influential and amazing. All right. Once again, massive thank you to Jason for having me over at his house once again, as normal, and sitting down and discussing this with me. And a huge thank you for anyone that is still listening at this point. And of course, another thank you to Rocklahoma Bitches, DEB Concerts, and Sunset Tattoo. And until next time.
What I've always liked about Nuno is his wood grain natural guitars. He had that one that was like dark, and then the two natural wood stripes.
Oh, yeah.
I want that guitar. It's amazing.
Well, yeah, didn't you always, you used to have a guitar, right? That was like wood grain looking? Or you still do?
Motherfucker.
That's what...
Well, made me get it out.
Okay. That's just, I remember that one, yeah.
Covered in dust, which I should like do something with. See, covered in dust, because I'm a bastard. My favorite guitar ever.
Keep in, get Nuno to sign it and hang it on the wall.
I'm going to put that right there so it motivates me to clean it and do something with it.
Hell yeah.
Thunder Underground, y'all.